A lot of my past working life I spent in advertising, marketing roles within many different industries. You might have gathered this if you'd listened to a few of my past videos. Anyway, a lot of our business ended up being done on a Friday afternoon in a pub. A lot of the best ideas we had came up on a Friday afternoon in a pub. Most of the bigger deals we ever signed were on a Friday afternoon in the pub. And if they weren't Friday afternoon in the pub, they were in the bar at a conference or an exhibition late at night in the early hours of the morning, when you've bonded with the person that you feel comfortable to trust with the money that somebody else has bestowed upon you. So that's business. I'm not here to lecture you about that. It might even be different now because I've been out of it so long. I wouldn't know. But that's the principles that we always used to work under. You bond with a person, you do business. Now, of course, with AI and the ability to track not just people but products and services, etc., and gather data, statistical data, quantify it, work it, and gather profit from it, has never been as strong as it has been today. So I've had a few beers this evening, and so I don't know what day it is. I think somebody said it might be Tuesday, which is good. And it's put me in that kind of same frame of mind I was in those days, actually, for some reason. And do you ever get the feeling that humanity is being audited at this very moment? And I mean audited, pulled apart, every facet of its working, from its movement through to its manufacture, its processing, its wastage, its travel, its A to B, its energy expenditure. But I've been thinking about this for a while, and I'm trying to work out what exactly is going on. And we have what we call our on-world stuff, which I don't believe is being interfered with. I think we're allowed certain free will to bomb each other, abuse each other's children. There's no one that's going to stop it. There's no force for good amongst the living in that respect. And anyone thinks there is, well, look around at the moment, because there is no force for good in the living. It will emerge, I have no doubt, but in this current period it ain't here yet. So I feel like I think the word feel, it's not a feel. Feel is a weird word, because it's more of a logic that we are being audited in the most perfunctory manner I've ever witnessed in any business I've ever worked in that's been audited or has carried out an audit on behalf of another business. Think about it. Take a step back, and if you have any experience of auditing, or you don't know what a full audit might be, just type into any decent search engine, and I'd advise DuckDuckGo, by the way. Get off Google, get off Chrome. Firefox do a very good nightly version for I don't even know, I can't remember the words of these things. I've been out of it for so long. I use two. I use DuckDuckGo and I use Firefox Nightly. I think it's the app for developers, so you have to turn on certain features, but I find them both brilliant for security. DuckDuckGo will tell you if somebody's tracing you. Nothing's 100%, but then I run a double VPN with a multi-hop, so I could be anywhere in the world, and then I could be hopping somewhere else and then backwards and forwards. Again, I think it's common practice with a lot of people these days to use a multi-hop VPN. You can't have it on 24/7, unfortunately. Sometimes things just don't work with it, and there's always going to be leaks and gaps, but good peace of mind. Will it stop this audit? Is it an audit? On a sci-fi realm, if you were to have a film or a movie or a book or a script called The Audit of Humanity, how would you accomplish this audit? How would you grind it to a halt so that you could scrutinise every moving facet of our existence? This is purely esoteric and philosophical. I'm not pointing to this as an audit, but I'm getting a wave of, my God, this feels like we are being scrutinised by AI. We are being scrutinised by something that's put us firmly in our place at the moment, and I'm still having difficulty, I guess, fathoming that it could be other human beings doing this to us. And just the auditing, it just seems so relevant how you would take a mess, an orderly mess in a way, one that functions, but maybe one that you'd want to change for more profit. We'd conduct an audit and you'd reshape it to your needs because you were the dominant financier. And well, the dominant financiers are very prevalent, aren't they? Printing their money, their quantitative easing, their suppression of bullion, their no interest paid on savings, the food price index rising, etc., etc. We know the financiers have got a firm grip now. So, but what are the financiers? We talk. Well, I talk about Zion, and I've put this in comments before. All Zion represents is the chemical element 2 ion, which is silicon, and I shouldn't really need to take it any further than that. That silicon is the determining factor in what's happening to us on Earth as carbon. And people go, batshit crazy again, he's gone off on one again. Well, I'm not going off on one. This constant battle between silicon and carbon has been, well, since we crossed over the timeline, since whenever that would be, time was actually rendered useless, apart from to us who observe it for labour. Time is only measured in labour, by the way. For those that manage to cross the borders of time, labour becomes irrelevant because you can recorrect what you failed to do the first time. P.K. Dick would explain that to you quite well, I think, and his experiences, as would Aldous Huxley. But the way that we're being viewed is so perfunctory. It's clinical, this mass reset that we're witnessing now. I'm a studier of literature and history, and I have read probably about 6 or 7 global resets that have occurred in the past 7,000 years. These aren't natural caused resets, these are typically industrial resets. So there's been natural resets, of course. We live in an ecosystem, things change. But I'm talking about an actual power restructure, a reset, a depopulation agenda carried out through various means. And one thing that seems to be really prevalent in this is the word census, the collection of data of how many. And it's the word census to me now seems like pre-audit. And this is all Latin, and I did learn Latin at school. No, I did not learn Latin at school. I sat at the back in complete and utter silence, staring at the teacher, going, ugh, okay, it's not going to help me. And it hasn't helped me, but what it has done is it's made me look up things in Greek and in Latin and compare them to English and French to realise that the bastardisation of the English language that we use now has covered up so many of these frauds that we can't grasp it because we're programmed to use such a complex code. English is very complex. We have 20-30 words for the word cup or glass. We have multiple words for every single device in our home, person, expression. We don't have one word. That's the difficult thing being in Spain, is to realise that one word is one word. They don't have multiple expressions in a lot of cases. So I can understand how this audit maybe is being undertaken and how it would apply in my old role in business. And it's a bit scary to see this audit and to realise that assets are being reduced, restrictions are being put on place. No, you can't use this amount of fuel. No, you can't do this. No, you can't sit there. It's exactly the same as you'd say to a struggling business that needed, or not necessarily needed, but was under the pretense of an aggressive takeover by a much more dominant corporation who would issue instructions as per the audit. And if it's a recognised auditing agency, a highbrow auditing agency, no one will question them. That's their job, to audit. What kind of audit are we under? And I'm just wondering, I think it's an AI audit, and that's my philosophical esoteric thought, not my logical thought at this point. And I hope that doesn't merge into logic, because I certainly don't want to live in a world governed by silicon. Cheers.